We received a call from the patient themselves reporting that a brown bear attacked them while they were out hiking.
Today on the Morning Edition, a frightening encounter on an Anchorage trail. A woman recovering after being attacked by a bear, but officials are urging hikers to be on alert as the bear fled the area.
Plus, new details in the tragic plane crash that killed former Representative Mary Peltola's husband. The NTSB saying the aircraft was overloaded. Later.
I waited outside for 4 hours, and I finally got to see him, shake his hand, and got his autograph.
Alaskans are remembering rock legend Ozzy Osbourne. The Prince of Darkness may be gone, but his legacy lives on as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up and joining us here. Didn't know that Ozzy made a trip to the Last Frontier in 2002.
Yeah, apparently he has a lot of fans in Alaska.
Sullivan
We'll hear
Arena.
more about that a little later.
Very cool.
I never actually heard any of his music, but I do remember watching one of the TV shows they had.
They had a
back in the
reality
day.
show, yeah.
I remember watching
Osbourne.
that.
Something about
Osbournes, yeah.
Well, we are waking up this morning. Some rain has moved back in across South Central. Most of that activity really began to initiate as it pushed into the Copper River Basin. As a result, a large portion of the valley managed to stay on the dry side, and that will continue to be the trend throughout the remainder of today, although we could still see some spotty to isolated showers for parts of the valley. 57 is where we're currently sitting at here in Anchorage. We got those light winds that remain with us. Another day where we are going to see some sunshine sticking around in the forecast, and there's that potential that we'll see several locations today warming into the 70s. But notice, as a result of that lack of rain that didn't initiate through the valley, we are seeing some sunshine to start off the morning. Now, east of Palmer, we are seeing some spotty to isolated activity, but most of the rain continues to be widespread through the Copper River Basin and the eastern parts of Prince William Sound. Western half of the region has managed to stay on the drier side. With that said, you can see just some spotty activity that did develop across northwestern parts of the Kenai, dropping south. Largely expecting that to kind of taper off here over the next about an hour or so. But we are going to continue to favor this ongoing rain for our areas of the Copper River Basin and eastern Prince William Sound. With that said, later this afternoon into the evening, we will begin to see this activity lightening up, if not seeing some drier conditions spreading back across those areas. So rain for the most part, gripping eastern parts of South Central. We could still see some spotty to isolated showers through the valley, but largely expecting dry conditions. Then as we welcome in Friday, we will see widespread rain returning to a good portion of South Central, which will also lead to some cooler conditions. But notice the 70s we'll see across the region today. Now, yesterday, Seward managed to climb into the upper 70s. There is a decent chance we could see that once again today. Here in Anchorage, we may even budge our way into the 70s. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast coming up.
The person was by themselves when they were out hiking and when they were attacked.
A close call near the Basher trailhead after a woman reported a bear attack Tuesday afternoon. Several first responders headed to the scene, trying to figure out exactly what happened, while the victim recalled the frightening encounter.
According to the Anchorage Fire Department, the woman was pretty deep into the Basher Trail hiking area when she was mauled by the brown bear. She was able to call for help using her smartwatch, informing officials that she was unable to move. The victim was medevac to a hospital and is in stable condition. She suffered non-life-threatening injuries. AFD says it was difficult for rescue crews to reach her due to the terrain of the hiking trail.
We tried to get some off-road vehicles back there, but we also had a litter that has a one wheel on it just in case that was needed. It was very difficult terrain for our guys to access the patient, and fortunately, Helo 3 was able to land and transport that patient to further medical assistance.
Officials say the bear reportedly fled the area after the attack, so for anyone out hiking, they're urging people to stay alert.
The NTSB confirms the plane crash that killed former Representative Mary Peltola's husband was caused by overloading of moose meat and antlers.
The final report released Tuesday concluded the plane was roughly 117 pounds overweight when it took off from the site where he had just dropped off a group of hunters. The report says a pair of antlers were also attached to the right wing strut. Eugene Peltola was piloting the plane when it crashed in the mountains northeast of St. Mary's in southwest Alaska. He was the only person on board.
We obviously suspected that there was probably an overweight condition at the time, but we have to run everything all the way out and make sure we don't miss anything. A very detailed report and a very detailed investigation.
While carrying antlers on the outside of a plane is common in Alaska, it does require approval by the FAA. The report says there was no evidence of that approval.
Numerous repairs of the 70-year-old plane were said to also have been factors in the crash.
The NTSB also released its final report on the June 2023 crash that killed Jim Tweedo, who was 68 at the time of his death, as well as his passenger, Shane Reynolds of Idaho.
The agency says the crash was caused by gusting tailwind conditions during takeoff, which led to the plane hitting a tree and crashing into a valley near Shaktoolik. The Tweedo family has been waiting on the update for more than 2 years, and they describe it as a sense of relief.
It's going to be nice having it over and done with because it's been stressful waiting, and luckily there are no surprises, and on we go.
The family says while they continue to grieve, Jim still plays an important part in their lives. One of his daughters is pursuing a dream he had for both of them, to drive a van from Alaska all the way to Argentina. At last check, she was in Utah, making her way south.
Hello, friend.
Juneau police need your help identifying a man they say may have stolen a gun from a car. Officers say the crime happened in the 1900 block of Crest Street. This was back on May 20th. The possible suspect was seen on surveillance. If you know anything, call Sergeant Lee Phelps at the number on your screen.
Alaska school districts are taking legal action against the U.S. Secretary of Education, suing over what they call an unfair distribution of federal education funding. More than $6 billion were withheld by the Department of Education earlier this month. President Trump spoke about the Department of Education enacting widespread cuts.
We want, as you know, we want to bring education back to the states, take the federal government out of it. A little tiny bit of supervision, but very little, almost nothing, like to make sure they speak English. That's about all we need.
Now the Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Cuspic school districts have joined the lawsuit, arguing the freeze is unlawful. Earlier this month, the administration withheld federal education grants, saying they need to be reviewed to ensure they align with the president's priorities. Now, a total of 14 plaintiffs, including school districts, teachers, unions, and education advocacy groups across the country, are suing. The two largest districts in Alaska are included in that group, as well as one of the smallest in the state and the country.
It is impacting rural districts the same way that it's impacting the urban districts. Again, just to the extent that without these funds, our students, they don't have another gym to go to. They don't have a library to go pick out a book at. They don't have those options.
Aguillard said programs like the one seen here are among those supported by federal grants, as well as things like teacher recruitment and retention, student wellness, the district's emergency communications, and more. Because of Cuspic's remote status and state designation, they have no tax base and are thus reliant on state and federal funding. All three Alaska districts involved in the suit say their aim is to reverse the federal funding freeze.
Some Alaska public radio stations are already feeling the effects of Congress passing the cutting of billions of dollars from public media funding. That includes KCHU. It is a station that broadcasts to a coverage area that's bigger than the entire state of Ohio. That includes Valdez, Cordova, and Whittier. KCHU's station transmitter is in danger of falling into the Valdez Glacier stream due to corrosion. With the newly announced cuts, they're asking for donations. If the tower does collapse, the station director referenced the 1964 earthquake when dozens of people were killed, depending on where they were standing when a tidal wave hit.
They had no warning at all. And today, the warning that they would have would come from KCHU Public Radio. Without that signal, it keeps me up at night to think about what could happen.
National Public Radio announced an $8 million cut from its budget for what's described as vulnerable stations across the country. The Senate Committee on Commerce lists Alaska as the most vulnerable state.
Coming up, it's more than just a garden at the Fairbanks Library.
How it's helping fight hunger, growing food, and incorporating kids programs. Arctic Gardens is next.
Rain spreading across parts of South Central. Elsewhere, we'll see some sunshine and possible 70s. I'll have more on that, but first at sunrise, 5:11 in Anchorage, 4:31 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Well, good morning, everyone. Back on a Wednesday hump day. We've got the sun rising, hopefully in for another warm day like yesterday.
Yeah, look at those stunning colors. Aaron, what are we in for today?
Well, we do have some sunshine across South Central, and those temperatures once again expected to warm near, if not into the lower 70s. July as a whole hadn't been too hot, hadn't been too cool. In fact, we've been roughly where we should be for the month of July, with an average temperature of 59.1 degrees, which is only a half a degree cooler than what we typically see for the month of July. Yes, we've seen a few days where those temperatures have budged their way above normal, but within the realm of what we typically see for this time of year. Notice, though, the last 3 months, we've kind of been on a slightly cooler weather pattern compared to the first part of the year, when we did see those warm and dry conditions for at least the first part of the winter months. As far as what you can see the past couple of months, though, temperatures have been holding roughly near to slightly below seasonal levels, although we have seen a stretch of some of those warmer conditions that have gripped a good portion of South Central. And we'll see that once again for the rest of this week outside of Friday. Notice those temperatures across the state, 40s and 50s. We've got that ridge of high pressure still with us across the south, and then we've got another ridge that's going to begin to build in across the western Bering. This is going to be a big driver in bringing in warmer conditions for a large portion of the state. 51 in McGrath, 52 degrees in Fairbanks. Notice most of the rain gripping western parts of the state. And then as you head through the Copper River Basin out towards the Alcan border, and then eventually today, we'll see that rain spreading through parts of southeast. So ongoing wet weather remains with us across the state. We've got, again, another ridge of high pressure out towards the Aleutians. Notice this band of cloud coverage, though, as you head out towards the Bering Sea. This will actually increase later today on into the afternoon hours tomorrow for parts of western Alaska. So those ongoing widespread showers will continue to grip areas of the Yukon Delta, Norton Sound, even as you head out towards southern parts of the Seward Peninsula. So we'll continue to favor rainy conditions. Notice out towards the Copper River Basin, eastern parts of Prince William Sound, we will see some drier weather returning later this evening. You can see light rain showers spreading across southeast. And then while Anchorage has largely been on the dry side, we'll see our area of low pressure that's been in the Bering kind of drop to the south. This will lead to some increasing rain widespread as we welcome in our Friday, and we'll also see some breezy conditions in the forecast. So light rain showers building back in across southeast. With that being said, nothing widespread or heavy to be expected. Here over the next couple of days, we could see anywhere from a few hundredths of an inch to some locations sitting just over a half an inch of rainfall, and that's by the end of this week. Meanwhile, across South Central, 60s and 70s to be expected. Some breezy conditions looking likely. We're also continuing to favor some of those rain showers across Prince William Sound and into the Copper River Basin. Areas east of Palmer may hold on to some light rain showers, and we're only going to see some spotty to isolated activity through the valley today, with those temperatures warming near, if not into the lower 70s. 69 here in Anchorage, 68 degrees in Girdwood. That 7-day forecast, you can see pretty much near identical for our Thursday. Widespread rain into Friday with breezy conditions, and back near 70 into the weekend.
At the Fairbanks Library, it's more than just books growing, it's food. A unique garden is doing double duty, serving a variety of purposes. As Alex Bengal shows us, it's not only a learning opportunity, but it's also feeding neighbors in need. Here's this week's Arctic Gardens.
Earlier this month, community volunteers came together to set up 6 garden beds outside the Nolwenn Library for youth and more to learn how to grow food.
We're integrating with some of the library kids programs as well as adult programs because we want everybody to be able to learn a little bit about gardening and veggie growing.
Kale, broccoli, tomatoes, potatoes, and more line the beds, all to be harvested through September.
In all the beds, I put marigolds, which are really good for insect control, keeping aphids off them.
The garden can be seen from the children's room at the library, and anyone can help keep it thriving.
Anybody who wants to volunteer and help out at a garden and learn some gardening skills, if they don't have the capacity to do it where they live, they can come help with these gardens.
Food from the project going to hunger programs around town, including the food bank and a local soup kitchen. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
For more tips on gardening in Alaska, visit our website and click on Arctic Gardens to view all of our past stories.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.